Kyle here from All Media Reviews, here to do a review, and comments and stuff like that. Maybe I don't know if it makes sense to do more than one video. So let's do the review first. So I'll talk about the news about Mike Portnoy and Dream Theater after that. Went to the Deer Hunter concert last night, and if my count is correct, which is not always 100%, but just looking at my concert history, it's pretty close. This was my 11th time seeing them. I can only remember twice. It might have been 3 times that I missed them here. Once was when I was in Chicago seeing Marillion. I remember that. They played at Station 4. And then one other time was the Friday before my wedding, or like the Saturday before, whatever. It was the week before my wedding. And I just couldn't justify it since I had other responsibilities. So yeah, they played the open. I'll just say briefly about the openers. Delta Sleep and the other band now. I was hoping not to have to look this stuff up, but I may have to do that. Not food for thought. The name of the band was something like that. They were okay, the first band. They had some moments, but Delta Sleep, while I don't know how much, I don't know how much I'm going to pursue their music in the long term. I don't know how much their music's going to do for me ultimately, based on the style combinations. But here, where is it? Let's just get this up so I don't feel stupid. All Get Out, not food for thought. All Get Out. All Get Out was okay. I mean, it was decent. I've seen much worse openers. They were okay, but Delta Sleep, their drummer was absolutely crazy. Their style is some kind of math rock. I don't know if you consider them post-hardcore, but excuse me. They're math rock. They have some melodic sense, but I mean, they're all pretty, tight musicians. But the drummers specifically. So I don't know. I want to look at the set list. I'm not going to talk about it in this video. And there was 1 or 2 tracks they did, like the 3rd or 4th song was unbelievable. And they're from England. It's the first time I think they've been here, maybe. But they said they're going to try coming back. So depending on how my interest on them, and they come back, or they're with somebody and I really like Everything or something, I would definitely go see them again. I'd want to see them live again if I had the chance to. So getting into the Deer Hunter now, Casey Crescenzo had been dealing with some kind of throat problem. I don't think he's actually sick, but he was drinking tea, and he posted on Instagram some stories and stuff like that. So kind of knew that the last few days, but the truth is, I know that the crowd did sing along to a lot of the songs to support him, help him, compensate him, but I thought his voice sounded fine. From his standpoint, he must have been struggling, or he sounded like he was kind of struggling. But so this tour, here's the set list. Unlike Everything and Mavericks and Peter Gabriel didn't have a chance to. I wasn't able to get a set list, but I did get one last night at they're at Amsterdam. I didn't even mention the Amsterdam Hall in St. Paul. And I peeked. I peeked at the set list, and I was looking at it, so I knew the set list. It was, largely supporting. I think I put it away. Where is it? I need the letter D here. Largely supporting this guy. The new album that just came out 2 weeks ago, the reimagining of Migrant, the 10-year anniversary. And they did 1, 2, let's just count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 track. 9 of the, whatever it is, 3, 6, 9, 12, 14. 9 of the 14 songs are from here. Including at least one of them. Middle Ground was from the Annex, so, but, and I have to say that I have made my comments about Migrant and the Migration Annex a little bit. I'll pull this up. I think that the rearrangements, whatever, remixing and somewhat slightly rearrangements, and then the track order to an extent have breathed a little new life into the record. I'll just to me, but as a whole, because the Deer Hunter has such a consistent catalog, I still don't prefer this record to anything they've done from a full-length standpoint, but this record I could say it's just maybe inched up if you look at this a little higher than it was before, if that makes any sense. Some of the songs that, I pointed out when I showed this in the Vinyl Hall a couple days ago, Shame, Whisper, and Bring You Down are sort of the songs I always have and probably always will think of this album for. But the other deeper tracks are starting to, like, Let Go, and Escape. What was the other one? Seeing Them Live, I think they really... Cycles is really good, the second half of that. Eat Sweet Naivety, even that one. Kiss of Life. I think all those songs sound better, and they even sound even better live in the way this I didn't even realize. I knew that Gavin Castleton hadn't been with the band for a couple of years. He was on of course the Act 1 and maybe Act 2 live streams. But this guy named Aiden Early is now, he's been since 2021 a touring member of the Deer Hunter. So, Casey didn't even allude to him. He came up and played the keyboards at one point. But, at one point you actually had, I think, 4 guitars. You have Casey, you have Rob Parr, you have Max Clouseau. Yeah. Max is Casey's cousin. And you actually had Aiden playing guitar at one point. On like 1 or 2 tracks. So they did a couple of others, the 5 songs that weren't from Migrant or Migrant Returned. And The End of the Earth, fantastic. Crow and Cackle, song from the Green EP Off the Color Spectrum, is good. I like the ending of it. I was just looking at that. It's like, well, still a decent track, but among the tracks on Green, it's my least favorite, actually. They did, what's the other one? Oh, the Bittersweets 4 through 6, which Bittersweet 4 and 5 and 6. And those are awesome. I mean, and the thing is with Act 4 and I don't even know if I saw those. I don't remember. Maybe the show I missed in 2016, right before my wedding, they did. I can't remember. I remember looking at the set list at one point, but, and then they did a new song called, it says Plains on here. I've seen it referred to as The Plains, which is good. The ending's pretty good. It's probably going to be on, he said it's going to be on the album. It's going to come out next year. Probably Sunya, the second part of Antimai, or the Indigo Child World, whatever. The weird thing is, just Googling that, and I found there's a video from the Portland show from a few days ago. Was it last weekend? Whenever it was. Deer Hunter, Deerhunter, Bradford Cox, the long, annoying, repeated, never go away history between people getting mixed up between the DEAR Hunter, the Deer Hunter, this band, and Deer Hunter, Bradford Cox's electronic project. They have a song called Plains as well. So someone's going to do some kind of remix or something, and who knows. That whole thing will probably never die, unfortunately, but I just find it really ironic. I don't know if Casey's aware of that yet. Maybe he is. Maybe he is and just doesn't care. Maybe that's not the only song that they have of the same name, for all I know. I mean, Bring You Down or I don't know, Love, The Love. The Deer Hunter probably has how many artists have a song called The Love? I bet you there's 500 or more. So, and I did get to talk to Nick, the drummer. Of course, we have the Nick rhythm section, Nick Sausalito or whatever his name is, who's been with them for a long time, and appreciate him on social media and everything, and the bass player, and then Nick Crescenzo, Casey's brother, has been there. The longest tenured member besides Casey of the Deer Hunter, but mentioned they did not play anything from Antimai or the Indigo Child, which we did in Minnesota. In the touring they did for Antimai last year and maybe earlier this year. Minnesota obviously wasn't in those legs, so we didn't see any of the Antimai stuff. I even brought my cassette. Of course, I showed him. um, and so we're kind of the fact that they're doing the migrant return of the migrant supporting migrant 10-year anniversary. I told them well, hopefully next time we'll get some of the Anti stuff. But I mean overall it was a really good show. It wasn't long, and like Casey was dealing with what he was. It was a lot of play with the crowd. The size of the crowd was it wasn't capacity, but that place is listed on without the with the curtain up at like a capacity of like 400 or 396, but with the bar area which was open, which I can't remember if I've been to many, if any. I've been to 15, 20 shows at Amsterdam maybe over the years, maybe more than that. I don't remember, maybe once. Otherwise, every show, the last 2 hour shows, of course, the Kendo shows, always had that area closed off. So the capacity could be 600 maybe. It wasn't capacity, but it was pretty close. I luckily got there early enough. I got a seat. There was very limited seating, but I got there early enough and got a seat on the side. So, and I was elevated, so have someone taller than me. I got to see my friend Nate, who I haven't seen since COVID. I used to see at concerts frequently. He's a really big fan of the Family Crest and the Deer Hunter and a number of bands that I'm into. In fact, maybe if the Stars Align, if he was interested, he might even be up for a collaboration showing up on my channel at some point. I'm not sure. He's kind of busy with the family, though, so he's been having a bunch of additional members to his family recently, so his responsibilities to go to concerts isn't what it once. He doesn't have the ability to always go to concerts, but I got to at least talk to him for a few minutes. And but yeah, I mean, in some ways I kind of like that it was a little more stripped down, a little briefer. They don't do encores. People should know that. I mean, if you haven't seen the Deer Hunter, then you don't know that, but that's spoiler alert. The Deer Hunter for many years I've never done cut. I kind of am with them. I like their tradition in some ways. In some ways, why do we have to bother with the whole song and dance part? Just go ahead and we want all the songs, and time is limited, and so. But yeah, I mean, the Deer Hunter shows that they headline I saw many times. They played over 2 hours, but sometimes less is more, and it was fine. Casey mentioned to me, he's like, "Was the show too short for you?" I'm like, "No, it was great. I thought the performance was great. The crowd really got into it. I mean, at times we were kind of quiet, but the joking that they normally do and talking to the sound man, they went into thank you for being a friend by the Golden Girls." Yeah, I mean, the songs, I think the Migrant songs do really well. The Migrant Return songs do really well live. Some of them I've never seen before, so anyway, that's my review of the Deer Hunter. Did you see them recently? Are you going to? I'd be curious to hear a review or what you're hopeful for. Transitioning on just to get a few minutes about, commentary, since I am a longtime fan of Mike Portnoy and Dream Theater. To varying degrees, my feeling about Dream Theater since he left is more limited. I like some of the music, but even less. Even when the end of the time he was in the band, I was of the feeling that I was liking like half the records and stuff. But the announcement that he's rejoining Dream Theater yesterday didn't completely come out of nowhere, but came out of nowhere from a sort of timing standpoint, because it kind of felt like it could happen at some point. Like this, he is the drummer. He founded the band. It's really his baby, even if he had to leave the band. And Mangini, while technically he's a very sound drummer and he can play those parts, and they created some pretty technical parts in the songs that they've done since he left, the songwriting part of it, I think, was maybe the biggest thing that was not felt when Portnoy left. So that's the most optimistic part about him rejoining the band. Maybe this will, recharge their batteries, refuel their hunger and their passion, and sort of get a reset, kind of like after Scenes from Memory. It's a couple different times. But we'll see. The Mike Portnoy's music over the last decade changed. I mean, the Neil Morse stuff, I have my reservations about. People love it, of course. I love Neil and Spock's Beard, but the religious part of it. And Eric Gillette actually always sounded like Petrucci, and I feel like I'd rather listen to Petrucci. But anyway, I know people love him. And the Winery Dogs, again, it's not his, it's like his C or D for his strength. I see him as strength writing progressive stuff, heavy progressive stuff. Of course, Sons of Apollo I wanted to get into, and I couldn't get into Jeff Scott Soto's vocals, and I guess some of that had to do with not even Jeff Scott Soto, but and part of it was me as a listener, I suppose. That's not entirely on them, but um, and like Flying Colors I liked, but I wanted to love, and kind of felt like a sort of derived from Transatlantic, because Neil Morris was involved. So I mean, I know my friend that from Heavy Debriefings, Josh, he always has said, well, anything Neil Morris does kind of sounds like Neil Morris, which kind of is true. I mean, unfortunately, even though he doesn't sing on Flying Colors from memory, I don't think he does. Transatlantic I've said my piece about too. So I mean, there's optimism, but I don't want to get too invested in this. If they come here live, which they probably will, I probably, just in the fact he's come back to the band and sort of the energy, I will be interested to see them. I haven't seen them the last 3, maybe 4 times they've come here. I was on a streak where I never missed them. I saw them every single time they came to Minnesota. I had a streak of 18 years or something like that. I did see them, I think, twice with Mangini, but I'm curious about that. I'll see. It's part of it is James LaBrie too. I guess his live, he hasn't been able to sing. I mean, I remember checking out that version of "Don't Look Past Me," and yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping that even with his own, he'll sing in lower ranges. He can do what Ray Alder did and just sing in a lower range. I'd rather it sound good even if it's at a lower octave. That's happened with many other bands, but it does have me curious, about Dream Theater. But like I said, even before Portnoy left, they were kind of, it's still about the instrument, the musicianship, and the emphasis on songcraft, album kind of creativity and stuff like that. Wasn't quite as great, though. I loved the Count of Tuscany and I loved Best of Times on the last record. But you just compare 6 Degrees, Scenes from Memory, even Train of Thought to an extent. I felt like with Octavarium, the track was really good, but it started to sort of feel like, I don't know. So I'm just wondering if they're going to kind of take a different approach. And the stuff they've done since he left, like The Astonishing, I never even fully listened to. I did like Distance Over Time for the most part. But again, it still kind of felt like Dream Theater by the numbers, but some of the songs were just a little better. So, I don't know. There's a lot of curiosity with this. But if he comes back and they write an album that's just okay, I'm not going to be totally down about it. I will go see them live, though. And I'll probably give them the benefit of the doubt for a couple albums, because I think this is the permanent ending of their careers that LaBrie quoted in that. I don't know if that could change. Things can never say never, but so this could be for the long haul, and he could be with them and the band's lineup for another 10, 15 years, another 3, 4, 5 albums maybe. I don't know. So, but it's curious. It does kind of feel nostalgic in some ways. I wonder, playing live, if they're probably gonna play the 12-step 5-song AA suite in one swoop. I know Mike Portnoy did it with his Shattered Fortress band, which had the guys from Haken, but that, and they'll play Raw Dog, the last track they recorded with him for that soundtrack. I think it was a video game. That will probably be played live. And it's interesting what they may play live. I wonder about the sort of creativity with some of the merchandise, some of the things, the tours they might do. We may see more of that, because while Petrucci and the band have done some stuff, they won the Grammy, they got nominated 3 times. Portnoy really was the spokesperson and really put his finger on so many of the sort of fun, fan-led, fan-incentive, fan-motivated things, like changing the set list, playing covers, official bootlegs, even the artwork, and like just different things. Just different things I think of Mike 4 and Dream Theater's music, which hopefully some of that will come back. I mean, I love the guys in Dream Theater, Brutus, Mayung, Petrucci's wonderful. And LaBrie, of course. But Portnoy was kind of the heart of the band in a lot of ways. To see him come back, I think he may, he's a different person now. This is 13 years later, so what he was doing in 2009, 2005 may not be the Mike Portnoy of 2023, 24, but they're going to work on a record, I guess. The belief is they're going to work on a record, and it's going to come out, and my guess is it will come out sometime the first half of 2024. Unless there's some kind of thing that sidetracks them or something. Will this spell the end of Mike Portnoy's other bands? The Sons of Apollo, I guess, is kind of done or on a long hiatus. That's what Bumblefoot's quoted by that. recently, a few weeks ago. That's kind of the writing on the wall of this whole thing, you know. Winery Dogs, he can come and go with that, I assume. It's not over, but they probably won't do much more touring unless it's like an off time for Dream Theater. And then for Transatlantic, there's rumors that they're done, unfortunately. And Flying Colors, I don't know. Steve Morse and Casey McPherson have their other work they do. Steve Morse with Deep Purple and everything like that. I know he's had some family issues that has made his kind of music work being kind of taking a back seat too. So I kind of wonder about a lot of the stuff that Portnoy did. I think it sort of still will happen to some degree, but it may just be kind of when there's downtime from Dream Theater. And it was kind of that way when he was in Dream Theater because, of course, he had Transatlantic, and he did play on Neil Morse's albums at the time he was in Dream Theater. So it will be kind of like that, but you know, his focus, at least initially for probably the next year and a half, 2 years, I would think would be mostly with Dream Theater. But I don't know, maybe, I don't know, it depends. Maybe, I don't know, there's a lot of things that this could lead to. I think part of it is COVID too, and the opening up, and hopefully things will get back to normal, although still going around, I'm wearing masks, so. I can mention one or two other house cleaning items. Everything just announced, it's called Mountainhead, I believe. March 1st, 2024, that album's coming out, so new Dream Theater, the Deer Hunter, Sunya, and new Everything next year. I mean, the Dream Theater album, again, I would think if they go into the studio, you know, it will come out sometime by like the summer, and they'll probably end up touring for it next fall. You know, the whole idea and the whole interest of them ever working with a producer, though, I still think that's a pipe dream at this point, to them work with David Bottrill again or someone else, but I think there's going to be, at least initially, a lot of sort of high curiosity level in this whole situation. So, but 2024 is stacking up to look pretty good. I mean, like Pain of Salvation and a lot of bands that, like, you know, that probably aren't putting out records this year that haven't talked about it, that you're expecting it. More on Police and everything. I'll do a preview, I'm sure, and so, but, you know, mark everything down, mark Dream Theater, mark the Deer Hunter down for 2020. One more house cleaning item. I've talked about the albums of the year. I'm going to do more of those Spotify top 10 list, hopefully. I think, you know. I do have my collaboration with Brennan from Death by Unicorn on this weekend, so that will be up. But I do want to start doing the albums of the year, the retro. Not going to be today, but if I think I'll see if I can try starting it tomorrow, and then the schedule is going to be hard to tell. It might be one a week, it may be 3-4 times a week. It depends on how many I can do, and I know as the years go by, it's going to be more work to corral and just talk about them. So, but I want to do that. I mean, I've been sort of procrastinating or doing other stuff like showing the vinyl, and I did the Small Leaks Things ship stuff last week, but no, that's in the works, and I want to finally do it, as much as it will be a kind of long, epic task, because it's going to be 50 some odd years, so 50 some odd videos. And actually, my awful thought is, if I don't know if I'll be able to cover everything in every year, I may do a 2.0 or an extended one at some point later on for some, especially from the 21st century. But I don't know. I'm still kind of struggling with that. The initial shorter years will be one video, obviously, but when you got, you know, 40 or 50 or 60 albums you want to talk about, it's hard to, you know, rather than just doing a flat 10 or 15, I may just have to do it in multiple videos. But I'm still kind of trying to figure that out. But anyway, again, thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and we'll see you next time.